Okay, I see what Natasha Denona she's doing with this blush. There are some differences. They are not exactly the same like I was mentioning since the beginning. Dior backstage. Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm super excited. As I promised to you, I was able to get my hands on the new Natasha Denona Love Face palette. This is the second palette, well, third if we count that the first release came with two different palettes. Like this one, it is a palette that contains a blush, a highlighter, and also eyeshadows. We're going to go over details of formulation, swatches in a second. The palette is made in Italy. It was released perhaps by accident, right, at Look Fantastic. I will be leaving all the details, links where to find this palette, the rest of my makeup, absolutely everything will be down on the description box below for your convenience. Thank you so much to all of you, my friends, that decide to shop through my links. The palette comes with 14.5 grams of product and is made in Italy. Let's go ahead and open it up. I mean, the box really cute, fantastic, perfect for Valentine's Day. I mean, we all know all these pinky. Now, we have seen this type of palette before on, what was it, 2019 or 2020, when she released two of these palettes. The other one I haven't there, but basically again it's a face palette. She came with a lighter version and also a deeper version. This time it seems like, at least for what we were able to see, that is only one palette. Perhaps we will get the big surprise that, oh my gosh, there will be another palette. I hope so, but there you have it. This is the beauty. Nice, beautiful, and pink. On the back, you have the pink holes. So if you decide that you want to pop out each of the shades, you can do so, which is different from the previous palette. The previous palettes, they didn't have, that feature that usually we see with pretty much all the eyeshadow palettes from Natasha Denona. And then let's open it up. It comes with a nice size mirror. And there you have it. Your eyeshadows at the bottom, your blush, your highlighter. If you're new here to my channel, I do film in natural light, so hopefully this will give you the best representation of each of the products and the entire demo. I'm excited. Yes, this is a very, kind of like a very muted pink palette in general. Seeing it in person, when I open it up, I thought like the blush was going to be a little bit more vibrant. It's not. I thought that the highlighter, it was going to be not really champagne, because I can see right here is champagne. I thought it was going to have like a pinky undertone, and even these shades right here are muted. Basically, she's giving us a creamy matte formulation, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a sparkling foil formula, which I'm excited to try. So let's go ahead and swatch it. Esme, Juliette, Aiko, Affinity, and last, Giddy. Now let's swatch the blush. Oh, this is very creamy. It's a different formula, absolutely different formula of what we have seen before. I mean, I know this was going to be a cream, but this is like super kind of, it glides, and it has kind of like a very interesting whitish undertone. Okay. Okay, and then this is her typical, wow, highlighter, which is quite potent. Let's just swatch it right here. There's the blush and the highlighter. Let's go first with the shade Juliette, and I'm gonna apply it above the crease. This shade blended super smooth and nicely. Now with a BK Beauty 211 brush, I'm gonna go to the shade Esme, and I'm gonna take it outer third. With a Refer 14 brush, I'm gonna go to the shade Giddy, and I'm gonna take it above the crease. Oh, there you go. And you know what? I'm surprised I'm not losing the intensity of the pink shade that I applied before, which that's good. I'm just rounding it. That's all what I'm doing. I'm gonna go with the shade IDYL. And I'm just gonna apply it on the outer V. That eyeshadow, wow, it does have a lot of pigment. A little goes a long way. Even if I tapped at it, crazy amount of pigment. And by the way, I'm using the 5 shades right now just to try the formulations, although most of these matte formulas, well, all of them, they are the creamy matte formulation. And I'm just doing so just again to just try the formulas, how each of the eyeshadows behave. Going with a BK Beauty 204 brush to the shade Giddy. And let's apply these on the lower lash line. Going with a Sonia G flat definer and the shade IDYL. And I'm taking this shade and applying it on the lower lash line. Again, you know, my friends, when I do this type of try on of new makeup, just try to go with a very simple kind of eyeshadow look. And so far, so good. Let's go next with a Smith 253 brush, and let's take the shade Affinity and let's apply it. Oh yes, yes. Oh, this is such a beautiful shade. It looks wet. It's so pretty. It's the same type of formula that we saw before on her Glam Face palettes. These ones are here. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy about it. Super creamy to the point that you have to be very careful because I don't want to say that it starts to crumble, but it's just creamy in nature. And it looks fantastic. Oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and just use my finger too and just smooth it out this way. I think this is the best way to apply it because this shade is just so foil. Okay. That's so beautiful. I'm just taking a little bit of the shade Juliet and just amplifying it a little bit. Yeah, just a tiny bit right on the crease. Mascara and eyeliner are on, and now let's go for the blush. I'm going to be using a BK Beauty A507 brush, the one with Angie from Hot and Flashy, and I have an unset makeup, so let's see how this goes. And I don't have any bronzer at the moment, just because I really wanted to see the tone. Oh, okay. I see what Natasha Denona she's doing with this blush. Okay, this shade of blush is very popular. I mean, we have seen it with DIOR, the Rosy Glow blush, which I actually just compared with the new Too Faced Candy Cloud blush too. It's a shade that I see becoming more and more trendy. I mean, it was trendy last year, but it's here to stay. It's here to stay. I can see the brands bringing it more and more and more, but this is a cream version. That's basically what it is. It's a very interesting pink shade, but I don't know if, I mean, in a cream formula, I mean, it's looking good so far. And it's applying super easy. Although very creamy, I don't feel that it's too emollient, that it leaves my face or my cheeks too shiny per se. Now, let's go ahead and try the highlighter with a Refer 20 brush. Okay, this is her regular formula, and this is a champagne tone. Although it looks a little bit deep and dark right here, it is not that deep. It is a true champagne. For some reason, I thought that this was going to be a little bit more icy or even perhaps a little bit pinky, but in a way, I'm glad that she did it this way because Perhaps, too much pink, it could have been too much, although I really love a really good pink highlighter that is well done, obviously. Oh, this is a beautiful shade. And in terms of if it emphasized my texture, it's not the softest of highlighters. I mean, I can tell it's not bad, but in a way it doesn't look very even. Not my favorite formulation, or perhaps it's just the combination of the cream blush with the powder. I don't know, perhaps. I know I'm jumping into conclusions because obviously these are first impressions, but I will have to say perhaps if she's bringing this cream one, I would have done in this new formula the highlighter also in a cream. I don't know. Just food for thought right there. Okay, let's apply some bronzer lipsticks and then I'm gonna come back and do some comparisons. My final look is done. I just went ahead and applied a little bit of bronzer, lipstick, lip liner, lip gloss. Again, all those details will be on the description box below. And now let's go into comparisons. So immediately when everybody saw this palette, everybody was like, is this the same thing as the mini love palette that we saw? I think it was last year. And I will say that there are some little differences. I think mainly there are some differences. They are not exactly the same. Perhaps a couple of shades they may look alike, but or just like one shade looks alike, but the rest is completely different. I mean, like even you're gonna see it right now. So this is the mini love and this is the new Love Face palette. These two are equal shades, very alike. I mean, to me, they are pretty much the same. But then in terms of the rest, this one has a warm tone, this has a cool tone. This is more of like a bronzy, coppery tone. This one is a true pink. This is bubblegum pink. This is more of like I don't know, kind of like 80s style pink, a little bit more perhaps the shade of like bougainvilleas, if you know the flower. Well, this one is more dusty. This one is more warm tone rose. So definitely, to me, if you have the mini love palette, you're not going to be able to get the same look that you get with that Love Face palette. So let's just be very clear about that. I'm just going to give you another look right here on these. And then in terms of the blush and the highlighter, I went ahead and pull out my Love Glow palette, this one right here, and just basically compare the cream blush, which is this one over here, and the highlighter, because those two, to me, first impression when you open the palette, immediately recalls you to that, but big differences. As you can tell, this shade from the new Love Face palette is cooler in tone. It has a little bit of a lilac undertone, white kind of base note to it too, and the highlighter is a true champagne tone. It does have a tiny bit of gold, but not too much, while the one from the Love Glow palette is, this one is more like mauve, the blush, and then the highlighter, it has a little bit of a peach tone. So as you can tell, they are completely different. Another palette we have to compare it to is the Love palette in the midi size. So definitely, I mean, the inspiration is there because obviously we're talking about Valentine's. There's a lot of pinks. But then again, the only two very notorious shades to be exactly the same are these two shades, which is the shade Commitment from the Love palette. And then the rest, no, they are different. Yes, they are pink, but they are different tones. If perhaps the lighter shade, which is Valentine's from the Love palette, has a little bit of the tone, I feel that this shade from the Love Face palette, the new palette, has again that whitish undertone, lilac-y, a little bit more brighter, which is again, we're going to go into the DIOR backstage in a minute, but I just want you to see that. And then again, on the Love palette, we find more warm tones. This one, the new one, is more cool tone. And now in terms of the blush and the highlighter, I decided to pull my Love Cheek duo, which is one of my favorite duos. Unfortunately, the cream shade is getting drier, which is so sad, but this blush is stunning. But as you can tell, this is a true pinky blush. And that's what I was expecting for this palette. To be honest with you, I was so excited. I'm like, oh, a pink highlighter, but it's not. So here we have the Love Cheek Duo. This blush is definitely coral, warmer in tone, beautiful shade, but it's definitely more coral. And then the highlighter is definitely pinky undertone. This is champagne. So as you can tell, although there's a lot of variations right here, and you may be wondering, well, how many variations can I have of all these different pink eyeshadows? But it is the nature of things. I mean, like all shades, all colors, they have different gradients that you can use, different variations, and yeah, that is what it is. And if you're looking into pink, I mean, if you really love pink, I will say, well, this is catering for those who really love pink tones. Now let's go for, like I was mentioning since the beginning, Dior Backstage. I know this is Rosy Glow, so I wanted to do a quick comparison now. I'm just going to put it right there. Okay, this is way, way lighter. And let's be reminded that this shade, it is also pH, it will change with the pH of your skin, basically. Now I'm going to also apply it right here, right next to the eyeshadow, so you can see it. Oh, very close to the eyeshadow. Although I will say that the one from Dior is perhaps a little bit lighter. Yeah, and the one from the Natasha Denona has more white in it. And let's swatch also Candy Clouds from Too Faced. A very pretty shade too. I'm just going to put it above so you can see it. And if you want to see a side-by-side comparisons made in natural light, I do have a shorts video with it. I mean, if any similarities, they're really minimal. I don't think they're too similar. They're not dupes. If any, I will say more the eyeshadow to the Dior blush than anything else. And then for those that are curious about this new palette from Natasha Denona and the retro palette, the retro is definitely more leaning mauve tone, more burgundy tone, more deeper, more intense, cool tone as well. This one is more vibrant, so really there's nothing to really compare to. If anything, I mean, if anything, honestly, because even these foil shades, they are completely different. But let me just swatch this shade right here. And I'm going to go with this finger to this shade so you can take a look at it. And I'm going to go to this shade and then this shade so you can see them. I mean, to me, those are the only shades that, if anything, they will look a little bit alike. But again, they are different. Perhaps the matte shades, they are closer, but one has more pink while the other one has a little bit more of a peachy undertone, a little bit more warmth to it. Okay, my friends, so what do I think about this new Natasha Denona Love Face palette? The first thing is that I hope Natasha Denona will launch not only this one, but also one for deeper complexions. Because I know this blush, it just has a white hint to it that is not going to work for those who have deeper complexions. Unfortunately, that is definitely, well, the highlighter though, I will see it working not for deep or rich complexions, but all the way to tan, medium to tan complexions. But that's pretty much it. So it's a little bit limited on that regard. But other than that, if we're going to go into the quality of the eyeshadow palette, the quality is beautiful. It is to be expected from Natasha Denona. Would I have loved to see, instead of 4 matte eyeshadows, another of these sparkling foil shades? Absolutely yes. Even perhaps removing this shade over here, although I tend to love these kind of shades, but just converting it a little bit more pink. For the highlighter, I wish in a way that it will have a pink hue just to go with the whole thing. I mean, if you're going pink, just like go pink, right? Go pink or go home kind of thing. I know some of us may be tired about so many pink eyeshadows, but they are kind of on demand. It's kind of like the pillow talk idea. Although this palette will not give you a pillow talk eyeshadow look, or entire face look. No, it will not. It will give you a romantic look. I will have to say the star of the show on this palette perhaps is this beautiful shade. This is Affinity, which is creamy, smooth, is foil, is just stunning, amazing, completely amazing. I'm super happy about it. I'm not very fond to this new, I mean, the blush formula by itself, I like it, but I don't like it combined with these two because I don't feel that the overall result is smooth. I feel that, yeah, in certain areas, the blush, I think that it needed to be set. So perhaps you can set it with this blush right here because of the undertone. Well, should say blush, eyeshadow. Because otherwise, if you go directly with a highlighter on this side, I can see that it lifts up a little bit, not my foundation, but the blush itself, making it a little bit patchy. So definitely my recommendation, if you're going with this blush, then set it perhaps with this one, or say if you have the Dior one or the Too Faced, you can set it with that too, or just a setting powder before you go with a powder highlighter, which is, I know, the obvious, but we know that sometimes face palettes, the way that the formulas are created, they really help each other for everything to work seamlessly. It's not that it's a faulty palette, not at all. What I'm saying is like, just do the regular kind of procedure to go first cream, then set it, and then you go with your powder. That is what I'm trying to say. But other than that, the formulations in this palette are beautiful. I don't have any complaints about it. If there were some tweaks that I will personally make, obviously I will, but I'm not Natasha Denona. It's not on my palette. The day that arrived, that day that I could create something for myself, I will do it my own way. This is her own way. I like the palette. I enjoy it. And I think that I will be using it too. Okay, my friends. And now I would love to know from you. You were able to grab this palette when there was this hiccup launch or not yet? Or perhaps it has, by the time that I upload this video, perhaps has already launched. You have already picked it up. Or perhaps it's just going into your wish list. Let's continue the conversation on the comment section down below. While you're at it, and if you haven't done so yet, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you ring that post notification bell because you don't want to miss any of my uploads. It would be amazing if you can come and follow me on my Instagram because right there I keep you posted. Like when that palette released, I was like, here it is. And when there's sales, alerts, back in stock situations, all of those things. So it would be amazing if you can come and follow me on my Instagram and TikTok. If you like this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, share with family and friends. That's so important. And if you're not done watching my content, I will be leaving a couple other videos right here that I'm sure you're gonna love. Until the next time, I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye bye.